and welcome to The Olive Tree with me, Julia Fisher. Jericho is our destination today, the oldest city in the world. Situated in what is called the West Bank, Jericho is close to the Dead Sea, well below sea level. The drive from Jerusalem takes about an hour, and as you descend, so the landscape changes. From being 3,000 feet above sea level in the fresh air of Jerusalem, Jericho is a flat, hot and can be humid place. Here on the banks of the Jordan River, the land is fertile and crops grow all the year round. The population of Jericho is entirely Palestinian and mainly Muslim. However, at the Jesus House of Prayer, run by Bible Society, we find today's guest, Samia. As we sat in the garden under a lemon tree, Samia told me her story. She was born in Nazareth and, as you will hear, lived for many years in Gaza, where she and her husband were involved with Bible Society work. A couple of years ago, something very unexpected happened to Samia and her family, and with no warning, they had to leave Gaza. Shortly afterwards, Rami Ayad, who ran the Bible Society bookshop in Gaza City, was murdered. So they have suffered much trauma. So listen now as Samia tells her story. She begins by explaining what took her to live in Gaza originally.
I met my husband, I loved him, and he's a Gazan. So I decided I will live in Gaza. Though I didn't know, if you would ask me about Gaza 1 year before I married, I really didn't know what is Gaza. Once my mom wanted to go to a trip to Gaza, I told my sister, Gaza, where is Gaza? And then I went to the map and I saw where is Gaza on the map. I was a teenager thinking of my life and of my how to be happy in my life and never taking care of the people around. But then I looked on the map and I saw where is Gaza. And then maybe after 1 year or 1.5 years, I was living there.
Because you were actually born in Nazareth, weren't you, in the north of Israel?
Yeah, I was born in Nazareth. I lived, 20 years in Nazareth.
You were living in Gaza until just, 3 years ago? But tell me what life was like there for you.
In the beginning, life was difficult. It's Muslim population, and I'm Christian. We were living in a free life in Nazareth, going to the beach with our swimming suits and everything like that. But then moving to Gaza, it was very difficult for me. But thank the Lord, God was leading me every day. Every moment I had God was going in front of me every second. I tell you. And I tell you, I loved, then I got used to living there. Then I had my children, but I used to deliver them in Nazareth and come back to Gaza. But after that, I got used to live there, and I loved living there. I love the church. I love being between the believers and serving the Lord wherever I am.
Why did you leave?
We left because I'm considered as Israeli. And my children were also considered as Israeli because I delivered them in Nazareth. And then my husband got also the Israeli ID. So we were going in and coming out from Gaza, and we had a permit to stay in Gaza. It wasn't easy. After Hamas captured Gaza and after things were getting worse, one day we came to the checkpoint, from Gaza to the checkpoint, to the Erez checkpoint, and we wanted to renew our permits, and then they told us that we can't renew our permits, and maybe the next day will happen something, but on that time we had to leave Gaza. And I didn't have anything. It wasn't easy. We left Gaza and we went out to Beit Sahur, and then we lived in a guest house for a time, and nothing was settled. My children were out of school until we settled down in Beit Sahur, and now we're living in a rent house. Though I have 2 houses in Gaza.
You have 2 houses in Gaza, but it's just too dangerous for you to go back with the situation as it is at the moment, presumably.
Thank the Lord. It was the leading of God to get out from Gaza, because after we left Gaza with like maybe 2 weeks, Rami was killed. On that time, I was really, when we left Gaza and they told us that we can't go back to Gaza, I was really sad, and I was speaking to the Lord. Why, God? My house, my church, everything in Gaza is for us. Why we should leave it? And then God was just telling me, thank the Lord, and putting thankful songs on my lips to speak to the Lord. And I said, thank Lord between this. And yes, it was like God was telling me, thank the Lord for this. And then when Rami was killed and things got very worse for the Christian in Gaza, I really was thanking the Lord. And I knew God was leading us through the valley of death, but to, the green and the I think it was much, much better living to be in Beit Sahur and Beit Lahem than being in Gaza on that time. And still Gaza now is very hard.
So what are you doing here, helping in Jericho with the House of Prayer?
Also, this was the leadership of the Lord in this, the guidance of the Lord. But I'm happy to be in Jericho now. I'm serving between the women. We visit people. It's time to listen for the sorrows that are in the hearts of the women of Jericho, and to listen for their problems. Try first pray for them and pray with them, and try to give advice about things. And also I'm working here also with the children, which is lovely for me. I love the children in Jericho, and they are very sweet. They need love. They need somebody to smile to them, to love them, to understand them. And we are in the Jesus House of Prayer. We're having between 30 and 40 children every Saturday. And they are lovely. They love to come to the house. And their mom from the last visit told us that when it's Saturday, when they say about it a center, when it's Saturday and there is the center here, they wake up very early. They put on their clothes very early, and they are ready to come to be in Jesus' house of prayer. So I'm thankful for the Lord that I'm helping children that they need love, and thank the Lord.
So do you just live a day at a time, a week at a time? How do you think when you think about your future?
God taught me something very important after leaving Gaza. He told me, our daily bread, give us our daily bread. It means I would live for the day and pray for the day. The future is in the hands of the Lord.
Samia, I don't hear any bitterness in your voice at all.
Why bitterness? God is great. God is great and He's gracious. I have 3 lovely boys and 1 girl. They all love the Lord. They are ministers. Wherever they go, they speak about the Lord, and they are a good testimony.
If I was to ask you the question, what do you believe God is doing in Israel and the Palestinian areas today? Despite all the trouble, despite all the upset, what would you say?
God is looking and telling the people, look at me, see my son, believe in me. He's giving time to the people to come to Him before the end of days. He's giving time to the people. The Lord God loves the people, and He wants them to look at Him and to love Him and to live a living that then at the end we all are one in God. I think that all despite all the problems that we live in Palestine and Israel, I think if the hearts are full of the Lord's Spirit, if the heart are full of Jesus' love, they all will be one.
Can you see that happening?
I can see something also. Yes, I can see the hand of the Lord, but I can see something also that Satan is the ruler of the earth. When so many sorrows are between the people, I see that God are calling them, come to me. And He is calling, and people are coming, and I hope really the more people come to the Lord before the end of days. It's my prayer.
Samia, an Arab Christian from Nazareth, who lived for many years in Gaza and now finds herself working at the Jesus House of Prayer in Jericho. And you're listening to The Olive Tree with me, Julia Fisher, the programme that brings you news direct from Jewish and Arab believers living in the Holy Land to find out firsthand what God is doing there and gain an insight into the complexity of life there today. We'll be hearing more from Arab Christians living in Jericho in future programmes. Samia's story shows how life for Palestinian Christians can be extremely difficult. So if you're left wondering how you can help, the Olive Tree Reconciliation Fund is a small charity based in the UK that seeks to prayerfully and financially support believers living in Israel and the Palestinian areas. Perhaps you'd like to receive our bi-monthly newsletter or join our next tour to Israel and meet some of the people you hear on this programme. So why not get in touch? You'll find more information and articles on our website www.olivetreefund.org, where you can also leave a donation. Or you can write to me, Julia Fisher, at the Olive Tree Reconciliation Fund, PO Box 850, Horsham, RH12 9GA, that's in the UK. Thanks for your company today. Join me at the same time next week. Until then, goodbye.